Hey guys, Aaron here. So in today's video, we're going to go over how to replace a sump pump. Now, this is not really that hard, and it'll save you quite a bit of money versus calling somebody else in to do it. So I got a call yesterday basically stating that one of my properties, the basement had completely flooded, and you can see there's just standing water all around. So it looks like there might be a drain issue too. But basically when the sump pump, as you can hear it, when you turn it on, it just hums. So the sump pump is bad and needs to be changed out. I don't know if the valve is an issue either. We will check that. But right now we know it is the sump pump. Like I said, this isn't that difficult, and it can be done relatively quickly, and it'll save you a lot of time from hauling all the water up if you can get the sump pump, because then you can just dump everything into the sump pump. So the first thing we're going to do is, again, unplug our sump pump. Then what we want to do is we want to disconnect our sump pump at our T-valve here, and that's really just loosening this bolt up, and then we can pull it straight out. Let's get that done. Now once that band is loose, you just disconnect this all together. This may be kind of tough. It's been on there for a while, but it'll come loose. And we just pull the sump pump straight out. Okay, now that we got our sump pump out, what we want to do is we want to loosen this. Hopefully it's not glued, but it may take some work to get it off, depending on how long it's been in there. Like I said, depending on how long it's been on there, it could be pretty tough to get off. If we can, I'd like to reuse these parts. Now, of course, we could always cut our own and redo everything, but if we can reuse it, it just makes it a little bit easier. It's never a good idea to use glue on that because, again, to replace this, you're probably going to want to use the same pipe. So it's best to just screw that down and you shouldn't have any issue. Then I'm going to take a look at this and see if I can figure out what it is, size it is. Try to get one about the same size. So we got, this is a 30 horsepower pump, and our tubing, if you want to clean this off a little bit, is 1.5. We need to find a sump pump with a 1.5 outlet. So I'm going to just go pick one of those up and we'll replace it real quick. All right, so as you can see, we have our new sump pump here. This is the same size. This is a 30 horsepower, very similar model. There's a couple of different options here. You can get ones that have a discharge on top. I like to stay with the same style because, again, we want to reuse our tubing if we can. And that's the other reason we want to get the same basic size, is because we're going to have basically the same size discharge as well. So 30 horsepower here and a 30 horsepower here, and we should be able to just reuse the tubing. Now, this actually has an adapter that would allow us to have 1.25 inch tubing, but we don't need that. So we can just take this straight out. And then what we can do is just take our old tubing, just tighten this back down. Now, like I said, you can clean that up a little bit. Even though it's grimy, it is fine. Just tighten that down. Now, when we're screwing that down, the other thing we want to check for is our weep hole or vent hole. Just make sure that's clear. That's what's going to prevent airlock and stop that pump from working. So just like I said, make sure that's clear. Make sure there's nothing in there blocking that. Now, in most of these, there is actually a weep hole or a vent hole somewhere on the cast iron itself, but we also want to have one on the pipe. So if you are cutting a new pipe, just make sure you get that weep hole in there and it's not blocked, because we don't want that either. Now we want to pull our cord out here, and we don't want this falling in the water, so try to find a spot where you can put that where it's going to hold it out of the water. If you got somebody else who can help you, that's great. If not, do like I'm doing there. Now we're just going to take our new sump pump, put it down in our pit here, and then we'll take our, fortunately not a lot of room here, but this on. Then we'll go ahead and tighten this down. Then we'll plug this in. And there you go. Now you can see the water is going back into the sump pump and it's being fed out. Everything seems to be working as it should. We'll get the rest of this mess cleaned up. But it may take a little while to clean the actual pump out because there's quite a bit of water in there.